The CPI print, Paul, how big of a headache is this going to be for the BOJ?
Well, I don't think it's a game changer, but certainly it raises the issue of whether forecasters are on top of this inflation trend. As you mentioned, if you exclude fresh food and energy, we have a figure of 3.8%. That's like the highest since 1981 or something, and driven largely by processed food price rises. But it shows that, hey, we've got something underlying here which is pretty strong. The government, of course, has got this raft of subsidies out, trying to keep a lid on inflation, keep voters happy and stop consumer spending hitting a downturn. But ultimately, this trend continues. Now, as you well know, the BOJ has been saying that inflation will slow below 2% towards the latter half of this fiscal year, so essentially from the autumn. The question is that actually going to play out as planned? Now, with any new leadership at a central bank, there's always talk of change. There's been a lot of expectation of the big move under Ueda. I think what we've seen from his comments since he took the helm is that he's trying to temper expectations. He's playing a cautious line, and our latest Bloomberg survey showed that 87% of economists expect no change at next week's meeting. But what's continuing to fuel the expectation is also this idea that if you want to jettison this complicated yield control framework that is part of the BOJ stimulus, you kind of have to do it by surprise. So I think that's always going to keep some people in the market betting on change.
Because it could, I mean, just that 25 basis points we saw in December really, really roiled the markets. But, you know, Paul, it's also the first time he's doing it, his first meeting here as well. So the thing is, it's, as we had that story yesterday suggesting that they're very wary of doing anything right now as well.
Yeah, I think they're wary. I think, those jitters that we saw in the financial sector abroad after the failure of Silicon Valley Bank and the sale of Credit Suisse, the jitters, the ruffles from that, it's too soon to act. That's based on our reporting, what people familiar say is the thinking at the BOJ. Also, we've got this talk of Kishida perhaps considering an early election after the end of the G7 summit next month. Now, if he was going to do that, would he want the man he's just picked to lead the BOJ to ruffle markets with some kind of change? Probably not.